Hello and welcome to my reading vlog for June. This month, well, last month, I read quite a bit of BL in total. I only read 18 volumes because I did go away to Yorkshire for like 4 days, like kind of like the middle of the month, and I didn't read them. But yeah, I managed to read 18 volumes last month. And a lot of it was BL because obviously it was Pride Month and Bizarre Individual was doing the readathon and I was taking place in that. I didn't actually manage to fulfill all the prompts, but I did get 2 bingos. So anyway, let's get on with the vlog. The first thing I read, which I read on the 2nd, is I Can't Reach You Volume 7, which I gave 3.5 stars. This is a childhood friends romance BL. It's a cute, wholesome one, and it's quite the slow burn. Like, we're on volume 7 now, and they're only just now starting to realise their feelings and stuff. But yeah, I enjoy this one. It's a bit more of a slow burn. It's a cute, wholesome one. It's two high school friends, and the black-haired one has liked his friend for a long time, and I can't remember the names, but this blondie, brown-haired guy hasn't realised that his friend has feelings for him, and obviously he's never really thought about that before, and so yeah, it's a good one. It was my first read of the month, and my first BL read of the month. So yeah. After that, I ran out of BL to read, and I did a order, and I had to wait for my order to arrive before I could read any more BL, so I read other things for a bit. So the second thing I read on the 3rd was Gazing at the Star Next Door Volume 1, and this I gave 4 stars. I really like this one. This is another childhood friends romance. This one follows a girl who's had a crush on her childhood friend since they were kids, I think. I think it's since they were kids. And recently he's started working as an actor, and he's up and coming, and he's getting popular. And obviously she's really thinking am I going to be good enough for him now? He's becoming famous and stuff. Yeah. It's by this author of, is it Ran? Yeah, Ran the Purest Beauty, which currently only has a digital release in English. We don't have a physical of that, but I really like the artwork too. It was very nice. Yeah, I really like this one. It's a good high school romance between a ordinary girl and her childhood friend, who is an up and coming actor, and it's got very nice art as well. I would recommend this one. I did very enjoy it. And then the next thing I read was on the 4th. I read Mal Volume 15, which I gave 4 stars because this is one of the volumes of Mal where we get a lot of information about what happened in the past, and my favourite volumes are the ones where we get more information on the past rather than just random fighting of demons. So we did get a lot more information on this one. We got more information about Dago, who is on the front cover here. We also got more information about another character who I don't even know if I can mention her, but without spoiling. But yeah, we got more information on her too. So yeah, this was a good volume. Found out some more. Still a lot of questions though, especially around about Dago. We got questions answered about him, but we also have more questions about him. And then the other girl, the Earth Wielder. I still have quite a few questions surrounding her too. Yeah, this was a good volume. The next thing I read on the 5th, I read Virgin Love Volume 2, which I gave 4 stars. I enjoyed this volume more than the first one. I did enjoy the first volume, but I thought this volume was better. This is a josei romance about a woman who is, I've forgotten how old she is exactly, but she's in her 20s, and she a virgin and she's never really been in a relationship. She had people she fancied back in high school, but she's never been in a relationship. And then her and this guy who she knows who works in a bookshop kind of go to this thing called the Love House, which is where 6 strangers live together for a while to see if they can find love with each other. So we have our main girl, there's this girl here. We learn more about her in this volume. Then there's this girl here. There's this guy who's like a womanizer. This is the guy from the bookshop, and then there's this guy who is a college student. And at the minute, she's kind of developing feelings for this guy here. And then the guy from the bookshop likes her, but he doesn't want to admit that. And like, he really just wants her to be happy. And he doesn't really want to ruin her chances with being with someone who could make her happy. So yeah, we still don't know as much about these 2 characters yet, but I'm pretty sure this manga's only 5 volumes long. And I'm looking forward to reading the rest. Although the cover on this one it's kind of a weird texture. Next, on the 6th, I've got another BL. This wasn't a part of my sci-fi order. I actually got this from Waterstones. And that is On or Off, Volume 1, which I read on the 5th, and I gave this 4 stars. This is actually a manhwa. It's based off a webtoon. It's in full colour, and I have to be careful about what pages I open because this one is explicit. But we follow this guy, and his friend from college started up like a company where they like make apps and games and stuff, but she was like transferred and got a job offer at a different company, so she kind of left him in charge of this company that she started along with like 3 other people. And they're all kind of like quirky. So we have, these are the people he works with. And they are designing an app for this big company where this guy, he's not like the president, but he's like acts as the president of the company. And obviously he gets to go give a presentation on the app, but he kind of messes it up because his computer updates, and then he kind of, in order to get him to like agree to give him a second chance, he ends up sleeping with the guy. And then yeah, but he doesn't really like being manipulated and stuff like that. But then they kind of go a bit closer, and he like starts working with him and stuff, and it was very good. I really enjoyed it. I've only read this first volume. I think there's 5 in total. I'm not 100% sure. I think there is a sequel as well. But yeah, I've only read the first volume so far, but I really liked it, and I will definitely be checking out more. It was very good. And next I went back to reading non-BL because still waiting for the rest of my stuff to arrive. But on the 7th I read Like a Butterfly Volume 4, which I gave 4 stars. This is a cute high school romance between 2 introverts, and these 2 are just so cute together. This volume, like in the previous volume, our main couple didn't really interact with each other all that much, but in this volume they definitely interacted a lot more, and yeah, development is happening, and I'm really enjoying it. I think they're very cute. And I'm looking forward to continuing on. Where was that? And there's this random colouring page which the author stuck in here. You can make a copy and colour it in. Yeah, I really like this series. I think it's very cute and wholesome. And Suri Wen, our main character, is starting to speak a little bit more too, because she doesn't really talk much because of trauma around people talking about her voice and stuff. And he doesn't really know how to talk to girls that well. So yeah, they started walking home together, and she's starting to like make a bit more conversation with him. And this series is good. It's Sumo Ishida, so it's the same as A Sign of Affection. Then on the 8th and the 9th, I read Alice in Borderland Volume 9, which took 2 days because this is a 2-in-1. I gave this 4 stars too. This is the final volume, and it pretty much ended the same way that the live action did. Like, the final game with the final person they go up against is pretty much the same as how it was in the live action. There was a few little differences, but it was mostly the same. But yeah, the majority of these 2 volumes was that one game. That I can't really mention much more about it because obviously this is the final volume. It's major spoilers, but I love the series. The series is great. I slightly preferred the live action, but I still really loved the manga, and I would give it like an 8 out of 10. I know there's a season 3 of the live action coming out soon, which it's either going to be original content, not in the manga, or there is a sequel called Alice's Return to Borderland, I think it is, and which takes place a few years later, I think. And then there's a spin-off as well called Alice on Border Road, which is completely different from what I've heard, and the characters are all different, and the scenarios and everything, and how it's a completely different, like, sort of genre, I think, that one. But I don't really think that the live action will cover that, considering it's completely different characters and all that. If it is going to cover content from the manga, I would assume it would be the Alice is Return to Borderland, which is like a 2-volume sequel, or it's going to be completely new content. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Then I didn't read anything for the 10th, 11th, 12th or 13th because I said I was away. So on the 14th, when I got back, I read Daisy Jealousy, which is a one-shot. I gave this 4 stars. This is Agretsuko Tanaka, who did Escape Journey and Bitch Club. This one is an office romance between 2 guys who work in what is it that they do? Graphic design? I think it's graphic design, where they do like design graphics. And they knew each other in college anyway, and they like in college he was like jealous of him because he was better at what he did, and then obviously something happened when they were in college, and then years went by and they were jobs now. They're working adults and they haven't seen each other since college, and then his company that he's working at, which is not the company he wanted to be working at. This guy actually is employed at the company he wanted to be working at because he got turned down, which makes him even more jealous. And then they meet up again because their companies are like joined together to... Oh, did he go freelance? No, I think he quit the company that he was originally working at, which is like his dream company, and went freelance. And then he's now working with his company that he's currently working at on a big project that they've gotten, so they're like reunited. And like things go from there. It was very good. It is a smutty one. It is rated mature. It's also a dramatic one as well, which I like a bit of drama. It was good. Next, I read on the 15th, I read Since I Could Die Tomorrow, Volume 1, and I gave this 2 stars. This maybe it wasn't for me. It felt a bit messy. It felt a bit like it was jumping around quite a lot. My favourite chapter was actually the chapter that didn't follow our main heroine, but it's a chapter who followed her friend from high school. That chapter I did enjoy more than the rest, but this follows a 42-year-old woman who is single, and she works at a film promotion company, and she has recently started to go through the menopause, and it's basically a series about navigating your 40s and menopause and like relationships when you're older. And it also, I say most of it followed her, but there was a chapter who followed her childhood friend, who is, I think she's married with a teenage daughter. But that chapter I did like more than the rest. But yeah, it's not terrible, but I can't relate to it at all with it. It's a series about women in their 40s, and obviously I'm only 28, so I can't really relate to any of the stuff they're going through. And yeah, it felt messy. It felt like it was a bit jumpy and all over the place, and it's not relatable to me. But I'll probably give this to my sister because she is in this stage of her life, and she might be able to relate to it more than I could. Next, I read on the 16th My Lovesick Life as a 90s Otaku Volume 2. I gave this more stars. I really like this one. This one is also about an older woman, but this one is about her reminiscing back to her time in high school as an otaku in the 90s. She is currently a single mother with a teenage daughter who is also an otaku, but she's very open about being an otaku, and she's got reminiscing, being like, I couldn't be like that when I was a teenager back in the 90s because I would have been ostracized for it. And when she was in high school, she fancied this guy, and she finds out that he hates otaku, so it makes her want to hide her otaku-ness even more. And then she's pen pals with somebody as well. But in this volume, she goes to Comiket, and she draws her own manga and tries to sell it, and then you learn more about this guy's family situation and why he dislikes otakus as much as he does. And yeah, it was a good volume. I slightly like this one more than the first one because I loved the first one too, but I thought this one was slightly better. Here's some cover page. Yeah, I really enjoy this series. It's very good. I think it's quite short too. I think it might only be 5 volumes as well. I'm not sure, but I know the volume count is in the single digits. And next, on the 17th, I read Wolfgirl and Black Prince 5. It gave 3.5 stars. I'm continuing to enjoy the series. It's definitely not a good example of a relationship. It's quite toxic, and the characters aren't great, but I really like it. And I really like the anime too, and we're not past where the anime ended yet, but yeah. This volume we have this guy here was introduced in the previous volume, and he's kind of attached himself to Kyoya, this guy, and he's kind of annoying. He's very annoying. Obviously, he becomes kind of less annoying towards the end of this volume. He kind of becomes more Kyoya's friend at that point. But yeah, throughout the previous volume and the first parts of this volume, he was annoying. But yeah, despite this series being quite toxic, I do like it. It's nothing like Imakoi, which is the author's other work. But I think the series has 13 volumes. Next, I didn't read anything on the 18th or the 19th. I don't remember why. I didn't read anything on those days. It was last month. Next, on the 20th, unless I was waiting for BL, it might have been that. It might have been that I ran out of things to read and I had to wait for my sci-fi order to come in before I could read anything else. That might have been the reason. That probably was the reason, now that I think about it. So on the 20th, I read Candy Color Paradox Assorted Pack. This is a spin-off, short stories of Candy Color Paradox, which is... I love Candy Color Paradox. It's one of my favourite BLs. It follows One and Kaburagi, or he's a reporter, he's a cameraman. They work together like for a magazine. And this volume kind of just corrects a whole bunch of short stories and like promotional stuff that the author has done throughout Candy Corn Paradox's serialization, and it kind of just puts them all together in one volume. Most of the stories aren't more than a few pages long. Like some of them like this are only like a page each. But I did enjoy this. I enjoy Candy Corn Paradox. I gave it 3.5 stars. Obviously I didn't quite enjoy it as much as the main series because it is just random short stories that take part in different areas of the story. But there's also like a colour gallery in here where you have some like artwork too. Just some like just a nice art randomly in the middle. Yeah, I did enjoy the volume. I did like a lot of the short stories, but some of them are very, very short. But yeah, I do like the main series a lot, and I did like these short stories. It just wasn't like anything major happening in them, obviously, because most of them were just promotional stuff. Next, on the 21st and the 22nd, it took me 2 days to read this, I read Number Call, volume, it's a one-shot. I gave this 3 stars, this was okay. This is Nagisa Furuya, who is the author of My Summer View and stuff like that. It's about 2 boys in high school whose names both revolve around the number 8. And he kind of dislikes his name because he gets called Ato as like a nickname because his name sounds like 8. And the other guy's name is, I think, Hachi, which is 8 in Japanese. So their names both revolve around the number 8, and they become friends after his test flies out a window and he catches it. And then they start hanging out together, he starts developing feelings for him, and yeah. It's just a high school romance. There's a little bit of drama. It's a bit disappointed in the ending of the series because it just sort of they don't get very far. But yeah, it was okay. It's a 3-star read. It's nothing spectacular, but it's cute. It's just not gonna like blow you away and be like, this is amazing or anything like that. Next, on the 23rd and the 24th, I read this over 2 days as well. I read volume 3 of Nina the Story Bride, which I gave 3.5 stars. I enjoyed this volume. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as volume 2. I think volume 2 was my favourite out of the 3 so far. But this volume introduces Set, who is like our second love interest in the series. There's a lot of like shipping wars between Set and Azor. Right now, after reading 3 volumes, I'm on Team Azor still. I like him more. But Set wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting him to be with what people were saying online about how bad he is. I read the volume and I was like, he is bad. Don't get me wrong, he is bad, but he's not quite as bad as what I was expecting before I read the volume. But yeah, still prefer the other guy, obviously. With this volume, she's doing right. There's always Hardy in this one because of the stuff that happened in the previous one, which I can't really say too much because of spoilers, but yeah. I did like this volume, and I am hoping that Azor is in the next volume more. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he might be from what happened at the end, but I'm unsure as of right now. But yeah, I did enjoy this volume, and I still enjoy this series, and I'm looking forward to the anime. And there's also a bird called Nina. And next I read on the 25th, Delinquent Daddy and Tender Teacher. Yes. I read this on it's only took me 1 day to read. I gave this 4 stars. The reason I was reading less during this point and only managing to get half a volume read during this time instead of a full one is because I got a puppy, a Newfoundland puppy, and she was taking up a lot of my attention, and so I wasn't reading a full volume a day. But this one I did manage to get read all in 1 day because it was quite a quick read. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. This is a cute series about a teacher and a single dad. Like, he's this little boy's teacher, and he finds out the little boy's dad is his crush from back in high school. And they reunite, and he's recently lost his wife. He doesn't really know how to be a good single dad. He doesn't know what he's doing. So he kind of starts coming around to his house to help him out a bit, and yeah, it goes from there and they grow closer. And this is Volume 3 is the start of like the sequel that she did called 4-Leaf Clovers, because originally this was a one-shot. Then it got a second volume, which is more like 4 shorter stories, and then it got a sequel series called 4-Leaf Clovers, and this is the first one, and I think it's currently 4 volumes, so like 6 in total, because it's just continuing on with the numbers rather than starting from 1 again. But yeah, I did enjoy this. It's very cute and sweet. Just 3 more. Next, I read Roar by the Dawn Volume 1, which I read over the 26th and the 27th, and I gave 4 stars. This is a fantasy BL series about, I forget what they're called, a Kanagi. They live on this island, and on this island the sea at night turns into like these monstery, shapely, human-y creatures, and in order to protect the island from them, they need something called a Kanagi, and that is him. And Kanagi tend to have short lives because they kind of get corrupted by the Black Sea, and they start to turn black, starting with their hands and their feet, like, and then they die once they become fully encased in the darkness of the sea. And this Kanagi, there's like multiple Kanagi. He meets up with this boy. He's a young boy at the time. I'm not sure how old exactly. But he meets up with him and he starts hanging around him. And by being around this boy, he notices that the stains on his skin are starting to recede to the point where it's only at his fingertips. So he realizes that being around this guy is like prolonging his life. So they kind of move in together, and he grows up. He's now, I think, 18, 19. He's about 10, I think, in the beginning. And he's now like 18, because 8 years has passed. And he's now really big. You know, he's starting to like fall for the Kanagi. And he wants to learn more about him because there's a lot of mystery around why the Kanagi are needed and why this Black Sea is a thing. Why at night it kind of comes alive and becomes like human shaped and stuff. Because the people at the like cathedral where the Kanagi is raised, they're not really looking into it more. They're kind of being very hush about everything, and they don't really want to explore what's happening and why, and they don't know, but they also don't seem interested in finding out. But he is, and he wants to learn more about the Kanagi in the Black Sea so he can find a way to release him from his duty, so he doesn't have to like protect the islands anymore. And it's very good. It was very interesting. I have the second volume. I haven't read the second volume yet, but I do have the second volume. I think there's 3 out in English so far, and I think there's 5 in total. But yeah, it was very good. I really liked this volume. 2 left. On the 28th, I read Pink Heart Jam Volume 2, which I gave 4 stars. This is the final volume of Pink Hot Jam, but there is a sequel series called Pink Hot Jam Beat, which I'm pretty sure has been licensed by Sublime. But yeah, this follows a college student. He's in the music club and he meets this guy who's in the music club with him, and he kind of starts looking up to him. And there's like, they kind of had like this initiation thing where they go to like this like drink a lot, and then they give the new guy money and they say go spend this, and like in the street where you have like all the gay bars and all the like brothels and stuff, if you don't want to do it, just give us back the money tomorrow. But yeah, but go do it if you want. So he's given the money, and he is questioning his sexuality because he does think he's bisexual, but he's not 100% sure. So he decides, you know what, I'll give it a go, try and see if I can figure this out. And he goes to one of these, it's quite a massage sort of club where you get naked massages and stuff. And he finds out that the guy from the club that he admires works there. And then he keeps going back and requesting him and starts falling for him. Yeah, I really like this. It was very good. And I'm looking forward to reading the sequel. And the last thing, I didn't read anything on the 29th. And on the 28th, no, I didn't. On the 30th, Therapy Game Restart Volume 3, which I gave 4.5 stars. I love Therapy Game, it's one of my favourites. We have a lot of drama in this volume revolving around the director of the vets that he works at, and Minato gets jealous because Minato is a very jealous person. And yeah, there's a lot of drama revolving around that. This is quite a drama heavy volume. There is like a kind of a twist at the end that I wasn't expecting. I won't say what it is, obviously. But yeah, I enjoyed this volume. I really like Therapy Game. I really like Minato and Shizuma. I think it's a great series. Obviously, I don't want to say too much and spoil it because this volume did have like a twist and it had a lot of drama to it. But yeah, really good series. And that's everything I read this last month in June. I haven't yet got a haul to do a video on because I'm still making my way through volumes that I had from the previous haul, and when I get down to just a few left, I will make my next order and I will do the haul whenever it arrives. So yeah, look forward to that, and I'll see you then. So for now, bye.